Let us begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Here.
Galvin.
Present.
McCoy.
Here.
Sharif.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. We will now proceed forward with commendatory resolutions and presentations. I have one proclamation for presentation, and it is for Prostate Awareness Month, which we are now in. And I'll give a little bit of background, and this proclamation is presented to Ms. Shanita Perry, who is a Compton resident. And the proclamation for prostate cancer awareness in the city of Compton has a lot of sentimental value for her and her family, because her grandparents are proud citizens of the city of Compton for over 30 years. And they have, after they implanted and came from New Orleans in 1963. And 2017 is Prostate Awareness Month, celebrating those that have been diagnosed with cancer and that have survived and are continuing to fight the battle for survival with this deadly form of cancer. And for those of you that do not know, it is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths among men. And Prostate Awareness Month signifies that over 160,000 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States alone every year. And unfortunately, roughly 26,000 die every year from this disease, which is one man every 20 minutes. And 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. African American men are at the highest risk for the disease, with a rate of 1 in 6 men. And because of undiagnosis, African American men are 2.3 times more likely to die from this disease. And the education strategies and early detection is critical to saving lives and for survival and for protecting our families. And it's important to recognize that all men are at risk for prostate cancer, and we encourage the citizens of Compton to increase very vital screenings that are available through our healthcare providers and also at no cost through many clinics throughout the city of Compton. And so I'm going to ask my colleagues to join me on the floor to recognize our resident for making this very important proclamation and for helping us to acknowledge Prostate Awareness Month for the month of September. You can all please join me on the floor. Thank you. I'm going to ask Ms. Perry to come forward. Okay. Oh, we have someone to take photos. Beautiful. And I'm going to ask, I've given a lot of the background that's noted in this proclamation, but I would like to have you speak to us about why this is important to you, your family, and for the residents of Compton.
Good evening. My name is Juan Batres. I'm here representing Zero Prostate Cancer. The reason it's important to not only myself but to my family is, unfortunately, about 4 years ago, I lost my dad to prostate cancer. And prior to that, I began to get involved with Zero Prostate Cancer through lectures, fundraising. They do annual runs here in Long Beach and whatnot. But more than anything, it's just raising awareness that it's a huge problem for the men in our community, and also to provide or give awareness that it just doesn't impact the men, but the caregivers as well.
Thank you so very much for being present, and we present this on behalf of the entire Compton City Council. And I'm going to ask my colleagues to share a little bit about prostate awareness and maybe any special stories that they may have relative. Thank you.
No story is relative, but I do understand the importance of them being involved and actually trying to make sure that more awareness is being brought to this issue, because a lot of men have a tendency not to go to the doctor. And we women, we may want to go, we may go, but men have a tendency not to go. But this is to encourage them to make sure that they do go to the doctor, make sure they get regular checks up in regarding to this. And so I think it's a wonderful, wonderful event that you're starting and making sure that more awareness is being brought to this issue. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for bringing this forward. Any type of awareness for cancer is very relevant, and I thank you for bringing it forward to the City of Compton. We always recognize breast cancer awareness, but it's time for us to recognize all things that affect the health. We need you men to step up and get your prostates checked, and no age is too young. We just need you to know that it's very important, and women, you encourage your men to go out and get their prostate checked. And so thank you for coming forward, and thank you for participating in all the awareness to bring it forward.
Thank you. Early detection is key, and prostate cancer is a disease that we need to take very serious and need to educate folks on. And as you know, this year I'll be having my 6th annual breast cancer walk here in the city of Compton with my sister, Satra, school board president, and we'll have a booth out this year for prostate cancer, giving out information, and he's right here in the audience. And usually when you're affected, you do become an advocate, and people often ask me and my sister, why do you guys do this breast cancer walk? And we said, just to educate our community, just to help people become aware and stay connected and provide resources. So I thank you, and I welcome you to join us on October 14th for the 6th annual breast cancer walk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I just want to do a quick poll in the audience. How many of you have had a personal family member or someone you know impacted by prostate cancer? Just raise your hands. I would say over 30% or about 30% of folks have had someone in their life affected by prostate cancer. So we thank you for continuing to carry the torch for your father and all those that have been impacted and maybe potentially impacted by prostate cancer. It takes a lot of courage to share your personal family testimony, and so we thank you for being that sacrifice for other people. Thank you. God bless you. And you have a beautiful family here. If we don't mind, if you want to come join us in the photo, and I have Melissa in the back, and we can take the photo for everyone, and we can all come together. Beautiful wife and his awesome, handsome son. Thank you all for joining us in our proclamation and presentation. And we will now proceed forward with public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. The first speaker of the night is Mr. Robert Ray.
Good evening, Robert Ray Compton. Did you all feel the earthquake yesterday? We have it right here in Los Angeles. And I'm sure you've all heard about the 2 huge earthquakes in Mexico, where hundreds of people have lost their lives now because of earthquakes. But you all know the big one is still coming to Compton. And how many of you are prepared? I'm guessing not many of you. So that is why this Saturday, we're asking everyone to come to the Compton College to what we are calling the Compton Prepare-a-thon, where you can come and learn everything you need to know to prepare you and your family for any type of disaster. And also bring your kids, because Elmo and his friends are going to be there as well. Shows for the kids, and there's going to be a raffle for a large screen television and some other raffles. So come and learn everything you need to know about disaster preparedness this Saturday at Compton College. Also, item number 6 is about traffic signals. Now, I was under the impression traffic signal is a very public safety issue. I have reported last week light bulbs out in several of our traffic signals around town. And in my opinion, something like that should be fixed within 24 hours. It has now been a week and these traffic signal lights have not been replaced. So, City Manager, I'm asking you to get on the street department, because if people come up to an intersection and they don't know if it's red, yellow, or green, we're going to have some more accidents. And speaking of street lights, the residential lights in your neighborhood are maintained by Edison, but I was informed that the city actually provides the bulbs for Edison to replace. And right in my neighborhood alone, these bulbs are only lasting 3 to 4 weeks. So whoever bought this last batch of bulbs needs to turn them in and get some better bulbs. And lastly, street signs. Now, I've given all this information to City Manager, but I'm making it public tonight because I want to make sure Public Works and Street Department hears this. Street signs. In my area where I live, South Clymar, Taper, Claswell, and West Cypress, about 2 years ago, all these streets were resurfaced and they put in all new street signs in the corners. But they put the signs on the wrong corners. So I'm asking, and I've been asking City Manager now since last May, all you have to do is move the signs to the proper corners. Thank you.
Bishop L.J. Guillory.
Madam City Council, Madam Mayor and City Council, I'm here today on behalf of Ombudsman International as well as National Ombudsman. I'm here today to let you know that my 84-year-old disabled father, a veteran of the United States Navy, was only one of the victims who was fleeced, who was robbed, who had his money stolen out of the Treasurer's office. And for me, it's a little strange because as an ombudsman, I go around this country fighting against corrupt politicians and thievery by public officials. And right here in the city of Compton, I have my dad going in, and he's paying cash money to pay his water bill because it's so high, $4 if he uses his card. Well, I believe that the mechanisms that almost made it possible for someone to steal money from cash money from the Treasury is because of the safeguards that weren't there. I'm going to ask that this council continue to work with our controller to get a better system put in place. But more importantly, I'm here to ask Councilwoman Zarita to please lead us in a resolution. I would like a resolution as I go to court to speak on behalf of my father and all the other veterans that paid their money and had this man to steal their money. The United States government cannot cut a deal for me to give this man 2 years after stealing more than $4 million. And who wouldn't be upset when we've had council members to go to prison for stealing $2, accepting a bowl of oatmeal, $5,000 here, and you facing 18 years, and you get $4 million, and you get away with 2 years? No, the maximum sentence is 10 years. We're asking that he get 10 years. So my agency will be contacting the city manager and the city attorney. We're asking that we get a resolution asking for the maximum sentence. Because in Placentia, a crook that just did the same thing was sentenced 25 years. Paul Richards was sentenced 17 years. And it was nowhere near $4 million. So I'm just saying since we like to do kumbaya, I would like to make sure that if you steal from the city of Compton, and that's the residents, then you go to jail, and you don't get out of jail before the money is returned. So that's my request, is to get a resolution, and then I'm asking that I will be back to the city to let you know that we're going to be protesting. If the U.S. Attorney's Office is willing to accept 2 years for $4 million, I still got 8 years credit. I mean, I can get, I'm just saying. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. David Irons. The next speaker.
My name is David Rumpelstiltskin Irons. When Rumpelstiltskin went to sleep, he woke up and the whole city changed. I got a committee called Anti-Grant Gentrification and Anti-Rezoning Committee, and I'm committed to it. I don't care if anybody else is, I am. And I also have another committee, but recently, Bishop McLaughlin, my friend, they took his church from me. And I called the city attorney. They said they don't get involved in that kind of stuff. And I'm glad he's standing back, because you shouldn't take something from an 89-year-old man. That's called, abusing an elder. He didn't even know they was taking his church. I go to that church. He baptized me at that church, but I wasn't part of the board. I don't get on boards because people try to tell me what to say. But anyway, so I think that's an abuse of elderly. And I know who allegedly had bought the church, but I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want. I'm going to find out who I can get to prosecute these people. Here you go to a church and the people sitting on the side of you. See, I refuse to sit up there on like a dais like you guys are sitting. I don't do that kind of stuff. I talk to you from here because I don't go behind closed doors either. But it's time for not having elderly abuse. And another thing, people are complaining to me about the water. I say, go to the council meeting and complain to them. People come to me about complaints about the city. My property taxes went up too since certain people been in office. And retail taxes went up since certain people been in office. Everybody on my street that bought their houses after Proposition 13, everybody's taxes are going up. Now I'm on a fixed income. What they call that, Social Security insurance? $400 a year extra on my property taxes? Hey, this stuff, the gentrification ain't gonna happen with me being involved. But if it happened, I'm the one that's gonna stop it. I bet you ain't gonna nobody take my house from me to offer me some money, $400,000. That ain't nothing. My granddaughter is gonna get my house. So gentrification stops here. It only happens in the black and brown neighborhoods. It's time for us to stick together against this evil stuff, taking property from people. Our parents.
Thank you, Mr. Irons. Ms. Marla Clark Sanders.
Good evening, councilpersons.
Good evening.
My name is Marla Clark Sanders. I reside in the city of Carson, but my ties are here in Compton. I was born and raised in Compton. My mother still lives here. My brother John's photo hangs over the door of the meeting room, and this meeting room is named after him. And I'm overwhelmed with pride when I enter this chambers. And I come this evening to share an unfortunate incident that occurred to me on Saturday, August 4th, in the parking lot of Superior Market, right down the street. I had completed my shopping and was bagging my groceries at my car because so often I forget my bags in the car. And place my bag of groceries in the car, toss my purse in the car, push the cart out of the way so I can safely back out. The distance not even here to the door in the rear. I turned around and proceeded back to my vehicle to find my passenger door wide open. I had not been on that side and my purse gone. I alerted Superior Market. Their stance is they have nothing to do with the parking lot. They only lease the building for their grocery store. They didn't know who owned the parking lot. I spoke with the security people in the parking lot. They told me they didn't know who owned the parking lot. So it's been a vicious cycle to try to find out who owns that piece of property so I can pursue this and try to recover the value of the items that was in my purse. So I come to tell the council that during my conversation with the security guard who was on duty that day, he informed me that I was the third victim that morning. That's unacceptable. That should not be occurring. Furthermore, it was appalling for me to find out there are no surveillance cameras in that parking lot at all. So I come to you, council, to let you know the citizens and the consumers are not safe in that parking lot. Sure, it's the owner of that parking lot to ensure the safety, but bottom line, you represent us and you're supposed to keep us safe. So I would like to know, what can the council do to put pressure on these owners to provide a safe environment for the consumers and the citizens of Compton, taking into account these days and times? Homelessness, loiters, everything you can imagine is occurring. So certainly that you can afford security and surveillance cameras.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming out and sharing the unfortunate event. I definitely will work with our city manager to bring the property owner in and to let them know about what's happening and the thefts that have been occurring there, and also to request that they include cameras in their renovations. They're currently planning to do new lighting. They're also scraping the whole blacktop. They're doing a lot of improvements, facade improvements. So cameras may be included, but I will definitely personally look into that and make sure that we do get that accomplished, because it's 2017. Most places have some form of video footage, and even if they don't keep the video footage for a very long time, there still is some footage available. So we'll definitely reach out to the owner and work on that. And again, my apologies for the unfortunate situation, but we will work to ensure that residents are not impacted in the future in that way.
Okay. Is there any way for me to find out who the owner is?
Yeah, well, from what I understand, it's the Bunkley Bakewell Group that owns that north side of the shopping center, and they also own a portion of the southern shopping center that has been renovated. So we'll definitely reach out to them and work with them on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Mr. Juan Batrice. Oh, we already had you. Thank you so very much again for your entire family for joining us. Mr. Holyfield.
Good evening to the mayors, councils, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, I have a few concerns this evening. First of all, Compton must be safe, clean, and friendly. In 1952 it was, and we were considered, and we were claimed an all-American city because of those factors. And it seemed like every week I get up here and I talk about safety. An example, the light on Greenleaf in Wilmington. We have here a report for $72,700, and I'd like this light taken, which is number 4. I like it taken out of there for $9,000 for it to go on its own, not in a package situation where you've got some kind of humps and stuff. That's not what we've been working with for a year or so. We want that light. We'd like to have it before we have all these different events on Wilmington and Greenleaf that's coming up. We want to make it safe. That's what the lady was talking about. And nothing could be more safer, and we have a person sitting up there who was on the school board and know about Walter Middle School and the safety with the security, with the safety guard and so forth. And yet, we will not move on that issue. Now, it was supposed to be on the agenda last week. It was stated it would be on the agenda, and that was on a Tuesday. Wednesday, there was an accident there. My wife and I witnessed it. There seemed to be an accident there every week, and we will not move on that safety issue as it relates to that without putting it into a package deal. I'm very concerned with that. Very concerned with it. And our council lady for that district said that it was going to be on the agenda and we were going to take care of it. I'm sure the whole world saw that. Now, I'd like to talk about, briefly, we're going to talk about this, but raises. It's supposed to be first service above self. That's what it used to be. Now, before any council people get any raises or anything, I think you should give a raise to the workers, the truck drivers, the people who get out and cut the grass. The workers of this community should get a raise first. And then, if you want to give yourselves a raise, you can. But make sure that the workers get a raise first. I don't hear anyone talking about the workers. I see it on the agenda, but no one's really talking about it. So thank you very much for allowing me the time. And remember that, the light on Greenleaf and Wilmington. And before we have any major events down there, which brings about traffic problems, we should have that corrected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holyfield. Councilwoman?
Madam Mayor, I'm sorry. Mr. Holyfield, the traffic signal, this is just part of the study. The study for that signal has already been completed. They're just doing the design portion of it, and that's why it's included in this resolution. We are moving forward on the traffic light. We requested it, and we're moving forward, and now they're just doing the next phase in order to get it completed, which is the design section. That's why Wildan is doing a couple of other things, and that's why it was included in this resolution. But they are moving forward with the actual traffic light. It won't be held up because it's in the group with the other things. They've already completed the study. So their next phase is the design, and that's what's on in this resolution. Okay?
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy, for the update.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Holyfield.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Holy, I really wanted to, first, I would like to thank Mr. Holyfield because he's been very persistent in regarding to make sure that stoplight and that turn signal is there at that intersection. And I do support his idea, the idea of what he's talking about because, yeah, I am from the school district and I do understand the importance, Mr. Holyfield, of making sure that the children are safe as they cross those streets and making sure that they have the turning signal there. So but it is here. Unfortunately, it did take a little longer than anticipated to get here, but it's here now, and hopefully we'll be get everything taken care of. Yeah.
Thank you. I am certain that it will be taken care of. Mr. Fred Easter, Jr.
Fred Easter, Jr., 1211 South Castlegate Avenue in the city of Compton. Honorable Mayor, distinguished council members,
Good evening.
Mr. City Manager, fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen. This past weekend, I had a distinct pleasure and a wonderful opportunity to volunteer at the annual Veteran Stand-Out. What a wonderful experience. I witnessed networking at its very best, providing physical, health, emotional, legal, financial, and spiritual services for those who served this country and kept us safe in the military. What a thank you for those who protected us and kept us safe. Oh yes, the food was generous and many left with the needed clothing that they needed. And I heard comments like, I have enough, close the last meeting to next year. I'm here to talk on item B, 8, that's before you tonight. And that item deserves your sincere consideration. I'm encouraging you please to support a yes vote on that item number 8. Just remember, we are our brother's keepers. And as a man of faith, and I like to paraphrase a psalm that's so dear to me, if we can help somebody as we pass along, if we can cheer somebody with a word or a song, then our living shall not be in vain. Please vote yes on this project of people helping people. Thank you for this privilege.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Gilda Bluford.
Gilda Bluford, 3rd District resident. Good evening to those seated on the dais.
Good evening.
It's been said that prayer changes the situation, and it also changes the prayer. This also applies to service. The Veterans Stand Down was a wonderful event. It was sponsored by For the Love of Our Veterans. That's something that we need to really look into, for the love of our veterans. If you love something, you honor it, you treasure it, you protect it, you safeguard it. You don't throw it away. I had the distinct honor to be a community volunteer at this event, and I was so moved, I cannot wait until next year. It's amazing how men and women who have put their lives on the line on foreign soil to protect us, they've never met, they've never encountered, but they fought to ensure that our privileges and our freedoms would remain so, only to come back, to return to domestic soil and be neglected by the same people who enlisted them to fight. And we've done nothing to support them, absolutely nothing. One day a year, we celebrate Veterans Day, and we have a parade. But sometimes you have to stop and ask yourself, outside of November, what's going on? If I give you a turkey and you have no oven, what good is a turkey? If I give you canned goods and you have no can opener, what good are those canned goods? We have to stop and realize not just what we do, but how we do what we do. Our veterans deserve better than we give them. They absolutely deserve better. And I really want to thank Ms. Charlie for her insight and her tenacity and her forward thinking to be able to execute a 3-day event, actually a 2.5-day event, where we give people that we have thrown away back their dignity. But I also have to say, in closing, in my last 27 seconds, I was really disheartened when I didn't see my council person there. I didn't understand why my council person was missing. So, Councilwoman Tana McCoy, I'm gonna be contacting you because your presence was missed. And when you showed up Monday after the event, I really didn't understand the optics of that. But I'll be contacting you and we'll talk. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Please. First of all, I had every... Oh, yes, it is. I apologize. I was told on the weekend, before the event, that the event was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I showed up on Monday. I had things on my calendar. However, I never even received any invitation about any event. Oh, no, I did not. You cannot tell me I did if I did not. So you can't say I received it if I did not. I said that to the city manager as well as other people. So I would have attended, but I had other things on my calendar, and I showed up on Monday because I was told the event was for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I support the veterans 100%. I always have, even when I was an employee, and I will continue to support the veterans. But me showing up one weekend and I wasn't invited, there was another event that I didn't get to attend because whether you guys know it or not, I had a death in my family. But no one seems to think about when you have other things going on. So I apologize, but I did show up on the day that I was free when I thought the event was still going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Maria Villarreal.
Buenas noches, María Villarreal, Distrito 1. ¿Me podrían proveer un traductor, por favor?
Do you need
I need a translator.
Okay. He's on his way
Please.
down. He's on his way. Un momento, por favor. 2 minutos. He's on his way down. Oh, if we can have a sound check with the sound? Okay. Is it the microphone? Here he is.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard it.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es María Villarreal, como les dije anteriormente.
As I said before, my name is Maria Villarreal.
Yo solo vengo ahora.
Today I am here.
Just give me 1 second. That would be nice if people know what respect is. Should I stop speaking and let people laugh about what I'm going to say? Or is there something funny that I'm doing that I don't know? It's very disrespectful. Can I please get my time back?
You're speaking.
Thank you. I should do the same thing when you guys are speaking. Solo vengo a hacer una invitación
I'm here just to
para la
present
comunidad.
an invitation for the community.
Y si he decidido hablar en español,
And if I decided to speak in Spanish,
es porque es importante,
it's because this is important.
no para que la gente se ría de lo que voy a decir.
This is not for people to laugh about what I'm about to say.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Es una invitación para un evento que Mike Gibson va a tener.
This is an invitation for an event that Mike Gibson is about to have.
Es sobre DACA
It's regarding DACA,
y es en un lugar seguro.
and it is in a safe place.
Y solo quería invitar a la comunidad
And I just wanted to invite the community
de nuestra ciudad de Compton
of our city of Compton,
que vengan
For them to
el
come.
viernes 29 de septiembre
Friday, September 29th,
en la escuela Jordan High School.
Jordan High School.
La dirección es 2265
The address is 2265,
103
103rd
en la
Street,
ciudad de Watts,
in the city of Watts,
de 5 a 7.
from 5 to 7.
Y es un evento que van a dar información sobre DACA,
This is an informative event. They're going to talk about DACA,
lo que tiene y no tiene que hacer antes de que se cumpla
what
el
has
plazo,
to be done, and when before the time runs out.
y solo quería recordarle a la comunidad que está en proceso de DACA que vengan a este evento,
And I just wanted to remind the community that is in the DACA process to come to this event,
porque es obvio para mí
because it is obvious to me
de que no podemos tener esta información en nuestra ciudad donde vivimos.
that we can't have this information in the city where we live.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kyron Campanos?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyron Kapanis. I live in Compton. And I just wanted to let everybody know about the Compton UPS is hiring. And they're hiring for package handlers and starting at $10.50 an hour. So anybody interested, please call 310-605-3050. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lily Dobson, former councilperson.
To God be the glory
Amen.
for the things He
Amen.
has done. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm ex-councilwoman Lily Dobson in the 2nd District right here in the city of Compton. And I am the good news lady. All right, and the good news is that I came tonight to just thank the mayor, the council, the city manager, the city clerk, the city treasurer, the city attorney, the friends, and even the enemies if we have some.
That's right.
For helping us with the love of our veterans. The stand down. We thank you for making it possible for us to do that this year, because freedom is not free. Somebody paid a price. So it's always an honor for me to just render service for the men and women that have served for our freedom. I salute veterans. I do. I do. I tell you, if you've been homeless before, you know what I mean. I just cannot for the life of me understand how some veterans have paid the ultimate price. Some are back home, but they are homeless. How can they be homeless in the richest country in the world? Well, I don't know, but I have some thank yous tonight, and hope I have time to get them all in. I might miss somebody, but I don't want to do that. Now, it's just good to say thank you when people help you. I needed help. They put me on the water detail. I didn't have a drop. Oh, my God. So I started begging. So I have special thank you for my walking buddies. They were the first victims I caught. Special thanks to the city treasurer. Ooh, Doug, please, get me some water. The city attorney, I know he'll help me. Craig Cardwell, he did. City clerk, she was there for everything. I didn't know she had to do all that, but I needed help. Miss Arleta Godwin. Councilwoman Emma Cherie, I said, girl, help me. Our mayor, Asia Brown. I even called the city manager about 3 times. He was there too, and he certainly did help us. And I called the ex-mayor, Mayor Perriton, and he brought me some. Oh, my time is out. But, Mayor, can I just thank 2 or 3 more?
If you don't mind just wrapping up, and we
Thank you so much,
extend
because
that
this
time.
is very important. Miss Paulette from the NAACP, Mr. Bouchamp for water. I didn't even know them. But Christ Lutheran Church, Miss Hall and that pastor and them, they put us in their budget every year. But Imperial Church of Christ, there's a lady over there named Miss Dolores May. She got word that we needed help. I needed help. We needed socks, new socks. She sent 722 pairs of new socks.
Wow.
For the love of our veterans. Let's give her a hand. I had a lady named Gail that worked all the weekend helping me put on tablecloths, and and people came from Gardena, from Long Beach, and you know who else I seen? It's the sheriff department. I guess you had something to do with that, Mr. Rambo. Thank you. I've been begging them. They came, and the fire department. Ms. Mayor, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I thank everybody that helped. Now, next year, everybody pitch in. Don't wait until next year. Let's start right now. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Arturo Frazier.
Good evening, everyone. God bless you all. Arturo Frazier here.
Good evening.
Come on, put a smile on your face. It's good to see each and every one of you. I'm here tonight on behalf of Neighborhood Housing Services, our CEO, Ms. Lori Gay, and President of Neighborhood Housing Services, and the Center for Sustainable Communities. And this is a new building located right in front of Gonzalez Park on the corner of Dwight and Rosecrans. And we're going to be having, in the month of October, so I'm starting now, our business-to-business small business empowerment breakfast. And this is with Pacific Coast Regional Small Business Development Corporation. They are housed in our center, and we want each and every one of you to help us to get the word out so that we can be a blessing to sustain small businesses here in the city of Compton. I had the privilege of working and serving under the city council, and I had the opportunity of helping, I believe it was the business-to-business breakfast roundtable. And now I'm back around, and I hear they have a Compton Chamber. Miss Emma Sharif has a roundtable. I'm going to a roundtable tomorrow with Mr. Holyfield. And so business and working together with businesses is how we're going to grow and help this city to grow and glow and be the jewel that God created it to be. And so we're going to be having this breakfast on Thursday, October the 26th, and it's going to be a blessing to all of the business owners. But specifically, we're going to have for our keynote speaker, Mr. Victor Parker. He is the district director for the U.S. Small Business Administration. So we have cards out in the lobby. We really want you to participate. The Center for Sustainable Communities, we have a lot of projects coming out of there, and so we want to come to your respective districts and work with you individually as well as the entire city council corporately. So for more information, you can call our office. We have some information again out in the lobby, and that's it. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Judge Kelvin Filer, the Honorable. Oh, you know what? Usually I was trying to get the attention. He was ignoring me. Right. Thank you,
Kelvin Filer. I'm a Los Angeles Superior Court judge, blessed to sit in the Compton Courthouse where I was born, raised, and educated. And Madam Mayor and members of the City Council and the City Manager and City Attorney, I'm here for a couple of things. First off, I want to say thank you for the resolution of support that you passed last year as relates to the Community Collaborative Court that we have in the Compton Courthouse. And that actually is a court that deals with issues of homelessness, veterans, mental illness, drug addiction, where we try and divert those individuals away from the criminal justice system. And I believe that the city of Compton was actually the first city to pass a resolution in support of the community collaborative courts. Now we have community collaborative courts all up and down the state of California. In Compton, the court here, led by my colleague Karen Atkinson-Goff, is the flagship court for the community collaborative courts. So I want to thank you for the resolution that you passed last year. Also, yes, in about 2010 to 2011, when the state was having some severe financial problems, we had to close some courthouses and shut down some courtrooms. That included closing down the courthouse in Compton that was used for unlawful detainers and small claim matters. Therefore, the citizens of Compton had to go to either Norwalk or Long Beach to litigate their landlord-tenant matters, to litigate their small claims matters. I am proud to say that effective October 10th of this year, we are bringing our unlawful detainer cases and our small claim cases back to Compton. So we will have a courtroom in Compton. So that's good for the community, and it's also good for the city clerk, for the city attorney's office, rather, because I know they handle a lot of those matters as well, and so they won't have to worry about going to Long Beach or Norwalk. They can walk right over to Compton Courthouse. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to have Judge Filer here with us, and always great to hear you speak. Judge Filer, great orator, and always bringing great news on the city of Compton. And if you could also just extend our best to Judge Karen Goff for her service as she handles the Community Collaborative Court. And also thank you to Councilwoman Sharif. I know that she also worked with Judge Goff on the Collaborative Court and also ensured that we got that resolution passed first. So thank you, Councilwoman Sharif.
Madam Mayor, thank you, but I also wanted to let everybody know that we are still meeting with Judge Goff, and we're still working on the pilot program. Pieces are coming together, and so hopefully we will have a part of the piece that we really need, which is the housing. I did meet with another judge from downtown Los Angeles. He met with me, and he have a grant, which hopefully that would be able to be a part of this, part of the collaborative court, working with the victims that go through the collaborative court. And one thing we were able to get accomplished, finally, is that we were working, trying to make sure all of the cases, cases especially on Long Beach Boulevard, was under that one court, and we've been able to get that part accomplished. So we'll still continue to work on other things. So I really want to thank Judge Fowler, because Judge Fowler is the one that put me in contact with Judge Goff, and we've been truly working together ever since. So I really want to thank him for that.
Thank you very much. And let's continue the great work. Also, we have the Hub Radio here with us, Ms. T. Muhammad.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm usually behind the scenes, so I'm nervous. So excuse me. I'm just going to read from my phone. Good evening, council persons and Compton residents. My name is Tani Muhammad, but everyone knows me by T from the Hub Radio. I would like to invite the City Council, along with the community, out this weekend, Saturday, September 23rd, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Compton Yow. The Hub Radio and Compton Yow have partnered up together to throw an event called an End of Summer Block Party. This event is to continue to build on the Hub Radio's mission, which is to bring people together for the better by involving every facet of the city to work together on one accord. This event is also being used to not only show the best of Compton, but to begin to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community. We plan to make this event Compton's very own Taste of Soul. Currently, some really big vendors that we have would be Trap Kitchen, Taco Mill, Blue Kitchen, What a Pickle, Big Men, Big Dogs, Compton Vegan, Lip Smacking Cupcakes, just to name a few. We also have System 1 coming, which is a job placement agency that are going to be interviewing 17 and up on the spot for immediate job openings. So we're hoping that you all have an opportunity to come out and support us. There will also be boxing going on in a children's village, along with a stage with performances all day long. So again, we hope that the council members are able to come out and the community is able to come out. Thank you.
And it's really great to see the Hub Radio out present, documenting what's going on in the community, and also being a positive force. So I'm very proud of the work that you guys are doing, and big thank you to the sheriffs as well for partnering with this organization. Thank you. And we'll be there. Ms. Marie Hollis.
Good evening to the council. I don't know actually that I can add much more about the stand down that was held on the weekend. I was privileged to attend, and I must say I was highly impressed, had a sense of pride, and I must say to the coordinators that prepared and planned that stand down, they brought Compton down front in grand style, first class. It was well planned, well coordinated. The spirit of cooperation was high, And you know, we always hear negative things about Compton. It's been wonderful tonight to hear such good things, and that the community has had an opportunity to hear those good things. And I see that you're going to be voting on the resolution concerning the stand down. And I hope that you are going to accept that resolution and that the stand down will become an annual affair. It is an event that the community can rally around, and it gives us an opportunity to show love for our community. The next thing that I want to mention, and of course this was a result, I think, of 2 weeks ago. We had criticism made about the Building and Safety Committee, and I want to give you a good report on the end of that incident. You didn't have an opportunity to hear. And as I've said before, you always hear bad things about Compton. Well, this is another good thing. The people involved, the supervisor and the inspector involved in that situation, I want to say kudos to them. You know, it makes you big when you can come back and say, I made a mistake and I'm sorry. They returned to Miss Dudley's home, the supervisor and the inspector, and they both offered apologies for the incident that occurred. And on top of that, they also even gave her a plant, recognizing the fact that she had been ill. And I think, you know, this is a new year for Compton. This can be a new beginning. And if we take tonight as an example, and we continue to add to it, Compton can be a beautiful city. And let's keep what we've heard tonight, let's keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hollis, and also thank you to the city staff that went above and beyond in this situation. I can say I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Ms. Joyce Kelly.
Thank you. I am Joyce Kelly, and I do live in Compton. There's so much happening in Compton. Well, I didn't go to the stand down and volunteer this year, but I understand it was nice, but 9 straight years, 2 of the 3 days out of the weekend, I was there. So I am happy that other people got the chance to experience what I had experienced. And also last week it was mentioned that the treasurer, the attorney, and the clerk, you know, to participate or help out, but they always help out. You don't have to ask them, they've always been there. I don't know what it was last week, but it seems like someone must have drank the Kool-Aid because everybody was doing things that were not kosher. Giving a permit at the last second, when do we start doing that? You cannot do that for one and not another. Tana McCoy, this I felt last year and said, we need to have something for Martin Luther King's birthday or Juneteenth or the 4th of July. How do we go about doing that? And if someone comes before you all at the last second and asks for a permit for something and you deny it, not before me. And if someone has something to say about it, because I believe in fairness, then you know what? I might have to go outside the city. As far as marijuana is concerned, I didn't hear any of you say you went somewhere and said and told these people, no, we don't want marijuana in the city of Compton. I didn't hear any of you fight up or speak up for us. How could somebody come into your house? This is your house. This is our house. And tell us what we want. We don't want marijuana. I don't care who had what petition or whatever. You go outside and get some legal advice on it. Mr. Holyfield, 4 years I stood before the council and asked for a left turn signal on Atlantic and Alondra. You got a little time. I don't know why they need a study because the structure is already there. So next year, before next year, I want either the Compton Chamber of Commerce, Compton Business Chamber, or someone to come before this council with some kind of event to recognize the United States of America. And also, you guys are paying so much money in studies. What do you have to study? We don't need, and we stop putting in road bumps in the street. Put that in some potholes and some slurry to cover it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Ms. Lynn Boone?
Lynn Boone, City of Compton. First of all, I want to say thank you to Ms. Barbara Calhoun, who originally started the Veteran Stand Down. And that lady worked hard. Truly, truly, truly hard. And when Ms. Brown first came into office, she took all of the businesses away from her when she had her State of the City address that was totally illegal at Dollar High. And I'm still waiting for information on the State of the City address because the monies haven't been paid back to the City of Compton. I asked this city manager for information on the item number 9, those invoices for the national, these charter buses, because there's nothing here but just the invoices. I want to know what youth actually attended on these buses. Were they nonprofits for someone sitting up here? Were they nonprofits for children for the City of Compton? Who were on these buses? And the other thing that I want to address here is that this city council, the 3 members that we have, and including councilperson in District 2, you guys need to know and realize how important and who you are. Because as far as the charter, the city is vested in you. It's vested in you. We are vested in you. You are the voices of the people. And you guys need to realize that. You actually need to read this book. All the other elected officials up here, they have no control over you. You guys represent us. Ms. Brown is a part of the council, but we have no strong mayor running this city. The CEO is a city manager, but you appoint the CEO. And until these citizens realize that, you guys are the support for us. And I mean, it's time for you guys to stand up and realize that you have to stand out for us, and you have to be our voices. This issue about the marijuana here in the city, the surrounding cities and everywhere else in California, they are making the decision. No one can come into a city and decide what's going to be done in the city. What this city attorney is saying is questionable. No other city is deciding to be the warehouse or the house for marijuana. And to have someone sit up and say, this is what's going to be done, is utterly ridiculous. And you guys need to think about it. That PowerPoint presentation to test here in the city is stupid and it's ridiculous. Thank you.
Ms. Boone. Ms. Cora Davis. Ms. Cora Davis.
Good evening, Your Honor, Mayor and City Council. I'm from the city of Los Angeles, but friends of mine, I have a lot of friends who lived in Compton. This weekend, they have been bugging me from Saturday. You need to come down and see about For the Love of Veterans. Now, to digress, I have 9 brothers, and 7 of them have been veterans. 4 of them fought in the Vietnam War. I had 3 of them who fought in the Iraq War. I have nephews who are National Guard, so I have a whole military family. So I wasn't able to make it on Saturday because I was out working. And I came down on Sunday, and I was just coming just to take a look, find some information, see what I can do in order to donate. And Dr. Johnson grabbed me and said, "Look here, baby, I'll talk to you in 5 minutes, but can you do something for me?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I got there at 11 o'clock. I didn't leave till 7:30. And I'm telling you, that was the best Sunday that I had for my life. To see the veterans, the way that the city of Compton engulfed them for those days, it made my heart just open up and say, what can I do more? I almost started looking for a house in the city of Compton. Really, I did. But I'm just saying that what you have done for these veterans these past 14 years, and I've lived in Los Angeles for 30 years, and I've never heard anything about this program. I want to shout it from the rafters to let them know that the city of Compton is doing something for the veterans. And I applaud all of you, the council, and I want to applaud my bestie because this was my partner in crime on Sunday, the city clerk. I worked side by side with her. She showed me the ins and outs of what to do in order to make these veterans' life a little bit better for the hours that I was there. So I applaud all of you. I applaud all of you in the city of Compton, and you guys keep up the good work, and anything that I can do, you can always call on me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Lestine Johnson.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Clerk, City Attorney. I rise to thank all of you, as have been done this afternoon, this evening, for allowing us to use the facilities and the staff for our 14th annual veteran stand-down this weekend. We actually gave our accolades to the mayor and council and city manager on Saturday, but there's always, in my opinion, someone that's left out. People behind the scenes doing hard work other than you on the dais. So this year we had plaques, and we will give them, we're going to go around to that department. Marvin Hunt with Parks and Rec, we do have a plaque for them. Louis McKenzie with, help me out, city manager, what's his department?
Public Works.
We have a plaque for him, and as well as Van Wilson with General Services. Those people work untiringly all weekend and with smiles on their faces, not only helping with the stand down, but I saw them helping with the veterans on Sunday services. That was standing room only in the auditorium, and they were running up with wheels and wheels and wheels of chairs. Of course, Alita Godwin is the command post, and they would bring up a row, and they would have to bring up a row till we couldn't get any more people, and they was all around. Louis McKenzie, we told him at the last minute, he got his staff over there. Same thing with Marvin Hunt. So I need to applaud the council and the city manager for how you are with your staff. Staff is sometimes overlooked. They're most of the time overlooked. They're the ones in the background doing the work, and they did a marvelous job this weekend. So I stand not only to thank you, but to thank the staff of the city of Compton and all the ones who supported the 14th annual stand-down. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Johnson and Ms. Charlie, for all of your service and your hard work and the labor of love that occurred over the weekend. It truly took a village, and to every single person that came out to support, all the donors, community members, and also to the woman that started it, former council person, Ms. Barbara Calhoun, for her vision. And it's my heart. And my heart is that, I know we're going to move forward with the agenda, is that we will really consider events and initiatives really based on the people that are being served. Many times, people have their political mindset that we're supposed to stamp out something because it was started by another predecessor. People that were involved in politics before I became mayor wanted to school me on why I shouldn't support the Veteran Stand Down, but I have supported the Veteran Stand Down every single year it has been presented to me, which is every year I've been in office. And many people don't even recognize that politics has to be separate from public service and progress. You can't have it all. And so my heart for the community moving forward is that we really, really focus on progress, on really serving our constituents. The need is so great, and I know that the need has already been met. And the great thing about God is He won't give you an obstacle that He doesn't supply everything you need to be successful. So I truly believe that this community has everything that we need to be successful if we work together. And so I just going to say publicly, I will continue to support the Stand Down. I know there's an item on the agenda, and I just hope that my council members really just consider from their heart perspective the people that are served by these initiatives, and that if we can just come outside of ourselves, regardless of who started something, who's keeping it going, but really think about who is being served and really the benefit that these people are able to receive. And even if it's for one day, it's still a blessing to those folks. And so I want to thank you guys again for your service to the community and for our veterans. God bless you guys. Madam City Clerk.
We're a consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam. Consent agenda is routine and expected to be non-controversial. All items will be acted upon at one time by the council without discussion unless a council member requests for an item to be removed or discussed. Is there a motion?
Second.
Discussion for amendments? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvan.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
City Attorney's reports.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, the City Attorney's Office is requesting a few items for a closed session discussion. First is conference with labor negotiator. The agency negotiator is city manager. The employee organizations are AFSCME, SEIU, and the firefighters union pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6. There's a existing litigation matter, Hewitt versus City of Compton, WCA Board number ADJ 8811832, pursuant to California Government Code 54956.9A. And those are the city council related closed sessions.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvan.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 5 under new business is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, authorizing the city manager to enter into a one-year maintenance and monitoring agreement with and establish a purchase order for Ron's Maintenance, Inc. for catch basin cleaning services during fiscal year 2017-18 in the amount of $144,342.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. City Manager, do you mind just giving a brief description of this item for the residents?
Madam Mayor and Council and audience, this item is so that the city can comply with the stormwater runoff requirements for cleaning the catch basins that catch the debris that flow from the streets into our Compton Creek and into our waterways and estuaries. This person's job is to make sure that those catch basins are cleaned out in compliance with the NPDES requirements for the Clean Water Act, which is a federal mandate, and we also have a state mandate to make sure that our runoff is as clear from debris as possible, paper, yard litter, things like that.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Any discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 6 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, amending the 2017-18 fiscal year budget and authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional service agreement with Wildan Engineering to provide design services for traffic signal modification, a traffic study for various traffic control devices, and prepare a citywide alley map in the amount of $72,700.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Just briefly, Mr. City Manager, I know we discussed this earlier, and Councilman McCoy also explained a portion, but for the benefit of the residents.
Mayor and Council, for the benefit of the residents, also this item requires, when you do traffic related signage, legends, there is a law that requires the city to do what's called a warrant study. They count the number of vehicles or pedestrian activity at a particular section or part of the roadway, and then with that study, it allows the city or municipality to go forward with installation of the traffic control devices. When you look at the speed hump issue, you also have a requirement here in the city where approximately 60% of the local residents have to want to have the speed humps installed in their area. This list that you see here for the speed humps are streets that have where the residents have requested that, and we've received the required number of signatures, as well as the other issues concerning the stop signage at the various intersections in this particular item. The flashing beacons, Councilman Galvan and his district and the council lady have all requested these studies be done so that we can get this, move forward with this particular process and get these applications installed.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, and I just want to include one request. I don't know if in some of the technical or through the RFP or what documents you all use to prepare, but also want to notice that the identification of which stop signs need to be replaced is also necessary. I know I've reported just kind of piecemeal as I see them, places where there used to be a stop sign and maybe because of an accident they're no longer there, but we do need an assessment citywide of where those stop signs need to be replaced as part of the traffic study.
Okay, we'll look at that as part of the change order.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure, Mr. City Manager, if this can be included in this, but or we can do it at a later time. I don't want to hold up this item. But the corner of Wilmington and El Segundo, there needs to be a traffic study done there. In my opinion, and the principal of Willowbrook, that corner, when you're traveling northbound on Wilmington, you should not be allowed to make a U-turn because the intersection is too small. And those corners on the corner of Wilmington and corner of El Segundo on the east and the west sides of the street, the red needs to be painted because the cars are just parked too close to the corner, and those kids are crossing that street. And it's even more so of a problem now because of the 7-Eleven across the street. So you have kids coming from Centennial, you have kids coming from McNair, and you got kids from Willowbrook at that corner. So if it has to be a separate item, but if we can do some kind of traffic study at that corner. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. Lastly, I know that we're going to be bringing forward the new fee schedule for the council's review and adoption, but I think we should also consider in the application process, as we're going through the development review for development projects, as a secondary component for the traffic study, that if they are in proximity to a school, if it's 500 feet or 1,000 feet, if there's pedestrian traffic that traverse that area, for example, the new 7-Eleven, that they also, we need to consider whether or not they should contribute to a safety fee, because we have crossing guards in that location and other locations, but there is a cost associated with that, so we should also consider that because as Councilwoman Zarita said, there are a lot of kids crossing that street on El Segundo and Wilmington, and they're trying to get to 7-Eleven, but that poses some more of a safety concern. We should consider that, whether or not we need to have 2 folks or,
Okay.
I know currently there is 1 person, but there are other places. I know we had a similar issue in the 4th District as well with some of the newer 7-Elevens in the schools on Alondra. So we should consider that.
There's no crosswalk guard there.
On the Alondra?
No, on Wilmington and El Segundo.
Oh, I was told,
No, there's not a 1, and we need 2.
I was told that there was a crossing guard.
No, the crossing guard is either the principal, the security guard, or some of us parents.
Well, thank you for that. So that may be something we need to increase. And I know we discussed the crossing guards, if we need to have more or less, but this is something that we should definitely look into.
So we want to look at it as like an impact fee for developers when they, okay.
Just something to consider if it's an annual
With the
fee
fee
or
schedule?
contribution.
Okay.
Sir, will this help light the train tracks on Willowbrook? The traffic study?
Will this help the, I'm sorry, sir?
This is for the street signs, right? This is an assessment for the street signs?
This is an assessment for specific intersections and roadways that were requested by council for roadway.
Can you add in the train tracks right here on Willowbrook by where the mayor lives at? It's pretty dark right there. And we've had a couple of residents come before you were hired and complain about how dark it was and unsafe.
That's for just overhead streetlights?
Yeah.
Even along the train tracks. I know, maybe we can get a status update of the lighting study because it's really dark, and we've talked about this many times, but there's a lot of burglaries
We've been bringing
there.
that up for like 3 years.
We did, and
Yeah.
we approved the initial phase of the lighting study, and I think the last time we checked, it was in draft form, so we need to have that presented by Public Works.
Yes.
Okay, so the lighting study. This item for Wildan probably will not cover that.
Right, it's separate, but as we're talking about lighting, we did approve a study, so we can get a status update of the
Just to
lighting
light up that
study.
intersection, Councilman. I don't know
Yeah,
what
what
you're
about
talking
some
about.
lights at the park? Can we, like at Looters Park where the homeless sleep at? Maybe we can light that specific section up to maybe that'll scare them off and have them go somewhere else.
On the east side of the park, right?
Yeah, where the tennis court's at?
Yeah, we can agendize that. I know all council persons probably have some recommendations throughout their entire district for just additional lighting, and we can ensure that that's included in the final plan. Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 7 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with and issue a purchase order to WM Curbside LLC for administration of the used oil recycling block grant program for fiscal year 2017-18 in the amount of $27,254.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? I'm just going to ask one request, if the council can be briefed on the marketing strategy for the recycling event. I know we have them every year, but we usually get the information in our water bill sometime, but everyone doesn't have Compton water, so we can really talk about how we can expand information for the residents, because we don't want them dumping motor oil in the creek and in the gutters.
Okay, just very briefly, I can talk about what we can do.
Okay.
Put it on the website, and then also put it in the water bills. And then we could also do a walking man.
Great. I think we
in
should.
English and Spanish.
Okay, that sounds, for me, the walking man sounds great for people to get that information. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 8 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, directing the city manager to prepare a budgetary allocation of at least $25,000 in future fiscal year budgets to For the Love of Our Veterans in support of Compton's annual Veterans Stand Down.
So moved for discussion.
Is there a second? I'll step from the chair to second. Discussion. Mr. City Manager, can you just give a brief description of what this resolution entails? And the council can discuss from there.
Mayor, Council, the Veterans Stand Down is It's a grassroots, community-based event where intervention programs are all brought together in a collaborative effort in one venue to provide outreach services to homeless veterans or veterans in need of services. The Veterans Administration is present, as are staff from medical, dental, social services that provide outreach. This year we had, in addition to those services, there was feeding, there was haircuts, discussions about civil litigation issues that they were facing, as well as provisions for them to sleep there for the 3-day period that the event occurred. And there were also supplies that were given to them in terms of clothing, food, and those types of items, hygiene items. So this is a event put on by a nonprofit organization who raise money, and the city this year has provided some in-kind services to support that particular effort.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make a statement first, because then I want to ask my question, because since the inception of the Stand Down, I have been a supporter of this event, and I continue to support the Stand Down. And even though I may ask some questions tonight, may be a little hard, I have to ask these questions because the questions are being asked of me, and I need to make sure that this information is clear to everybody that on the dais and also in the community. It does hurt me when people say that Emma Sharif is pretending to support the Stand Down. I tell people I have skin in the game, and the reason I have skin in the game is because I have a brother that served in the Vietnam War. And I've also watched my classmates, if they came back home, and we had to bury them behind that war. So I'm very compassionate when it comes to the veterans. And I, working with my brother, trying to make sure he got services that he was supposed to get, and I always worked almost 10 years for him to be able to receive the services that he should have, was well overdue. So I understand the situation that they're in, and I understand, so I am very compassionate in regards to that. But I was very kind of taken back when I read this resolution, because the resolution, Mr. City Manager, was brought to us in a manner with not really any backup material in regard to this at all. And what it does in here, it doesn't give us any, the resolution is written and the way it's written is that we don't have any idea as to what we will be asking from this nonprofit organization. And I have to understand what is it that we will be asking from this nonprofit organization in terms of the funds that we're giving. What do we ask them for? Artists? Do we ask them for accountant? What is it that we will be asking for if we're giving this money up? And that's what was a concern for me. And my number 2 concern was that, Mr. City Manager, I read this, and so are you telling me that in this recommendation that you're recommending us to adopt this resolution as written without any type of amendments or anything in regard to it? Because there's, like I said, there isn't anything here in this resolution, not really. That because to me, like if this is the direction that we need to go, that we are headed in, then I'm looking at, do we need to have some type of policy put in place so that we can make a determination as to what nonprofits we are going to give to, or are we just giving it to the Stand Down? And so I just want to make sure that it's in writing, so when it comes up, we will be able to let people know this is what we're doing, to make sure that it's clear to everyone here on the council, on the dais, and also in this community. So could you answer those questions for me, please?
So I'm not really the author of this. However, I will tell you that I think the intent of the request here is to ask the council to provide some financial service assistance to the Stand Down. I did speak to Ms. Johnson at the Stand Down, and we talked about what types of requirements would be required if we were to donate money to this event. I also suggested that the event either become a city-sponsored event so that we can legally donate money to a charitable organization, which at that point will just be a city-sponsored event. I asked Ms. Johnson to make sure that we understood what the budget was for the overall Stand Down, how much they received in kind as well as financial donations, and then what that gap was. And then also there's after action reporting as to how the money and the items were given out and distributed. So I think in those terms, that's what I would expect, and I think that's what the council expects if we're going to support an event like this. There are quite a bit of, in addition to all that, there's quite a bit of donated items that have to be stored for a period of time, particularly until next year, which also probably should be accompanied with this if we're going to discuss this for ongoing events, because there's quite a bit of logistics involved with this particular event. That would be my expectation. So without going any further into the item, I'll follow the council's direction. I was asked to make sure this item got on the agenda, and so we're discussing it at this point.
Well, thank you. And I'll just say that I did request, and I said this publicly last week, for an item to come forward for the council to consider. Because of the law, this is how we discuss items and have discussions about policy. So we do have the ability to change anything that we like on the floor, just a point to begin with. I do believe, and I did speak with the city manager in good detail about just some of the requirements that will be necessary for documentation, all the things that he has discussed. And my recommendation would be that this would be funds set aside in the same way that we move forward with putting a line item in the budget for the Christmas parade, to have a set line item for this event, regardless of whether or not the For the Love of Our Veterans nonprofit continues on, that the City of Compton will have a veteran stand down. And so documentation, receipts, or the discretion of the city manager in terms of what items would be reimbursable, but it could be in the form of a reimbursement agreement to be able to cover some of those costs, and also to cover just some of our staff costs, because we have a considerable amount of staff out in support, and so this could be a way to also cover some of those costs that generally are not budgeted unless these items are in the budget. So my recommendation again is to consider a process where we can get a line item of what the needs are, and they can be reimbursed or submitted and approved by management at that time.
I have a question.
Councilwoman Rita?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Mr. City Manager, in the recommendations, it says staff recommends that City Council adopt the attached resolution. Is that your recommendation from the City Manager's office?
I didn't author the staff report.
So whose recommendation is that?
I believe that,
I authored the staff report.
So, okay, so you recommend that. So my other question is, how did we get to $25,000 at least, Mr. City Attorney?
That's the proposal for council's consideration.
But I just want to know, how did we reach 25,000 at the least? It says to.
That it's creating a floor so that the program can go forward knowing a minimum amount of contribution from the city.
And so then my next question is, what is their budget? Do we know what their budget is?
Has there been a budget submitted to you, Mr. City Manager? I know we
I
have
talked to
them
Ms.
here.
Johnson about that over the weekend, and I don't believe she...
Not talk to her. Do we have a budget?
No,
Do we know what their budget is?
No, I have no idea.
And then my next comment is, I raise all the money for my events. My breast cancer walk, I raise $25,000. My special needs swim club, I raise at least $5,000. When I have luncheon for the seniors, I get a sponsor. I mean, if you're gonna have a pet project, you gotta be able to raise funds to have the project. And, you know, am I against veterans? My daddy is a veteran. Every one of my uncles are veterans. My family came from the time when people were drafted. You didn't even have a choice. So it's not that I'm anti-veteran. This is not my money. This is the tax people's money. And there's certain things and certain guidelines that I feel like I have to follow. So I think, and basing it on everything that my mother had to do with her nonprofit, all the paperwork she had to submit before she was funded, I don't see how you can take another nonprofit and allocate money in the budget, and we don't even know what their budget is.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zarita. And this is my understanding or comprehension of the resolution, is to add a line item. It does not give an automatic check to the veterans. That's a process that can be discussed, or we could designate the city manager with a process that would provide that opportunity for all those documentations, as we definitely are held to a high standard. All nonprofits are as well. And so this resolution is simply to authorize the council to add a line item, but it does not authorize a blank check in any way.
I had a comment to make. How come this is on the agenda today? It's like a year away. City manager, I want to direct my questions to you.
It's on the agenda today because it was directed to be on the agenda.
You know, like, I don't want to say nothing, but I'm getting like, it's like so frustrating. I'm like so sick and tired of being up here and seeing like resolutions coming to the council agenda where you know that the attorney is just listening to one person and doesn't even care. I mean, do it the right way, you know? Like, I'm 100% in favor of supporting Leslie. I think her project is great, but I mean, this is like, I don't know another way to say it without saying a bad word, but it's like a halfway done resolution, and it gives, I don't know how this thing could get here so fast. You know, they just finished their event Sunday, 2 days later it's here, and it just kind of seems like, I'm sure I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't want to even say I'm sure my colleagues feel the same way, but it's just frustrating seeing different items like this come all the time. And like, you know, it's just, when I request an item, I got to wait 2 or 3 weeks. But somebody else, it gets done a week later. And I'm not digging at anybody. I'm just saying, I mean, the attorney has to be fair to everybody. And I think that you should start representing the entire body up here.
Well, the mayor says she asked for it to be on the agenda.
Last week.
Yeah.
I said it openly and publicly, and everyone agreed that we should consider this. And so I do things the appropriate way by saying them publicly, openly. No one contested, and so it is here on this week. Well, and people have the same opportunity that I do.
Excuse me, Mayor. Who is, Mr. City Attorney, who is, it says, to a resolution of the City Council of the City of Compton directing the city manager to prepare a budgetary allocation of at least $25,000 in future fiscal year budgets to quotations for the love of our veterans. Who are they?
Nonprofit organization that sponsors the event.
But the money goes to the chamber, not for the love of the veterans. But hey, that's not my business. My business is the tax dollars. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, yes. Did you have something to say?
I do, but
okay.
we can
I am.
Sharif.
I'm gonna say this again. I support the veterans. I support of the veterans, but the resolution, I do believe, need to be a city manager and the city attorney need to go back with this resolution and bring it back to this council, because I think it's a little disrespectful to the council, in my opinion, for you guys to bring something to us that's really not complete. And that's the problem that I'm having, because I feel as though it should be complete. I should feel as though there's information that should be in here and in this resolution, because if we was doing it any other way, it would be here.
I'm gonna call for a question.
And I'm just asking for the resolution to be.
We're still in discussion.
And I'm calling for the question.
And I'm chairing the meeting, and so we'll get there.
So may I speak? Please finish.
Yes, you may.
Then, thank you, Mayor Brown. So why don't we do this? Can we table this and have them to go back and bring and do the corrections, make everything correct, and bring it back to this council? This way, we will have all our information that we need. The resolution be written correctly, and then the city attorney can brief us on it and everything. But to table it and for them to come back, because we have a whole year to get this right. And I'm just saying, let's get it right, because we are opening up a door where when you talk about nonprofits, then do we need a resolution? Because we are opening up a door here where other nonprofits may come before us asking for support, and we need to understand how we're going to be able to address that. And that is a concern as well. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that I do not support this, the concept and the idea. I'm just saying, let's go back and make sure it's done correctly and bring it back to the council.
I'm gonna call for the question.
Thank you, and I'm going to continue to chair the meeting.
So I'm
Mr.
asking
City
for it to be
Attorney,
tabled.
would you like to speak, sir?
What are we?
I did, but I have nothing to say.
Thank you. We're going to keep you professional. Thank you, sir. Any additional discussion?
Madam Mayor, I would support that we table this because it doesn't have the information that we need. We need to know the budget. We need to know like what was lacking this year that we needed to contribute to, because I don't know. I know that they said there were a lot of things that went missing, but I would like an accounting of what was lacking before we can go forward with knowing what we're going to give to the stand down. I support the veterans and the stand down, but I want to know what we're going to contribute and what we're going to support. What end are we going to support? We can't just blindly support and not know what we're contributing and not know the budget and not know what's missing. So that's what I want.
So could we just table this and bring it back?
Thank you.
please?
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy, and I will adhere to the request of Councilwoman Sharif and Councilwoman McCoy to bring this item back with the appropriate or the requested documentation, Mr. City Manager. I don't know if you need us to recap or if you can go back and.
We have
How much time do we have?
Are we voting on it
we have
or
a motion.
No,
pulling it?
it's going to be tabled.
Okay. So
either
we need to
they
rescind.
Rescind or we have to vote.
Yes, sir. So do you?
I'm just asking for a time frame for me to bring it back.
Well, we have like I said, we have until now, because we're asking for it to be put in next year's budget. So we still have the time. We have a window of opportunity here for us to take our time and get it done right. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I'm going to publicly request that this item be brought back within 2 weeks. Is that appropriate amount of time, Mr. City Manager?
Well, I'm
To do
sorry.
the
Can we
research?
vote?
Can they get up the information in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call for the question.
Second.
I'm going to continue to chair the
And
meeting.
we have
I
a
want to
second,
ask
Madam
for
Clerk. We
a
have a
point of
second for the
order.
question.
You are being warned,
It's being
Councilwoman
tabled.
Zarita. You have to be,
Madam Clerk, we have a first
Could you
and a
please-
second for the
Mr.
question.
City Attorney, could you please refresh the rules of decorum in order for our lovely council person here?
And refresh her that 3 votes overrules anything.
It does not run the meeting. I am the chair of the meeting, so you need to read Robin's Rules of Order. Yes, sir.
If it's going to be tabled, Mayor Brown, then we
Yes.
table it and we move
The
on.
mayor's chairing, unless we have the motion and the second withdrawn, it's been
Then I make a motion
properly
that it be
seconded to vote.
Then I make a motion that it be
And there's still
withdrawn and
discussion.
tabled.
But we've
and brought
already
back.
motioned and second to
Would you like
call
to
for the
rescind your
question, so-
motion?
What we just need to do is to rescind your motion and rescind yours and end of discussion.
Okay, then I rescind my
But
motion.
Madam Clerk, in
And I'll
the event
rescind
that you
mine.
have a motion and a second for the question, how do you handle that?
I don't believe there's a motion necessary to call
Call
for
for
the
the question, well, you have a
No,
second for the
call.
question.
You just call for the question and the chair recognizes it.
If there is no additional discussion, I will recognize it. But if people are still speaking on an item, I will not, and I will proceed forward.
Sounds to me like somebody else need to read the rules.
I think the comprehension is the issue, but we're going to proceed forward. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir, yes.
Withdraw your motion.
I will withdraw my motion.
We are now at approval of warrants. They withdrew their motion, so there's no action to the item.
I'm
Well,
asking
can
that
it-
the item be brought back within 2 weeks.
Madam Clerk?
Give them time to put it
District
together.
4 withdrew as well.
Yeah,
I had a
you
question
time.
before we move on.
Let
I'm
me
just going to
get
ask for
more
a
than
point
2
of
weeks to
order
give
for
time.
everyone. If we can all just have a point of order, please.
Madam Clerk?
Councilman Galvan?
Yeah?
Go ahead.
All right. So since the motion and the second were rescinded, does anybody else get another option to make a motion, or is it end right there?
To make a motion on the item?
Yeah?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to vote on it.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
No.
Galvin.
No.
Mayor McCoy.
No.
Sharif.
Yes.
I'm going to abstain to be able to have the ability to bring the item back. Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
We're at approval, I'm sorry.
If I can, Madam Mayor, if I can explain, we had 3 no votes, so the item was defeated.
Right, so it's no bringing it back.
But if you are in the majority, correct?
So it can be reconsidered by the majority.
Right.
Which is who, Mr. City Attorney?
It's the 3 no votes or the
Thank you, sir.
Can you name them?
How about that for comprehension?
Well, from what I understand is that the abstention is a part of the no vote. Is that not the case?
The abstention is not considered with the vote. It's not part of the majority or minority.
Okay, well, I can just bring a new item to be considered. Not a big deal. Thank you. Madam City Clerk? Thank you for the clarification.
We're at approval of warrants. Warrant number 241518, September the 13th, CA Cities for Self-Reliance Services, annual funding for Joint Powers Authority in the amount of $30,000. Requested by the city manager. Warrant number 241595, September the 14th, National Charter Line Services, charter buses for various youth program events in the amount of $7,700. Requested by the Grants Department. Total amount of warrants, $37,700.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or amendments? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
We're at council comments.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sharif?
I'm first. Oh, great. First, you know, when someone go back to school, especially when they get up in age, you really have to take the time to thank them and congratulate them. And so I want to congratulate and recognize Leslie Lynn Postel for making the Dean's List for spring and summer semester for 2017 at Cal State University, Mingus Hills. She's the daughter of Brenda Postel. And so, you know, that's really tough to do. So I really want to commend her. Also, the Department of Transportation has extended the comment period of the recirculated, and I'm repeating this, recirculated draft environmental impact report, supplemental draft impact statement for an additional 30 days. So if anyone is interested in submitting comments in regarding to this, is dealing with the I-17 Freeway 17 project. You have time to submit your comments in regarding this, and you can go online and do a written comments on the this environmental study. And the what I would do is that if you call my office at 310-605-5662, my assistant, D.J. Duhart, will be able to give you the website where you can go to and actually put in your comments. So I know that, there are some people out here that has been interested in this, and I really appreciate you guys attending the meetings and being there and making sure that you guys understood what is happening there with that with the I-10 17 corridor project. Now this weekend I had the opportunity to attend the Homeless Veterans Stand Down. And as I stated before, is that I've been attending this stand down and been out here with Ms. Dobson getting water for some years now, and I look forward to her calling me every year asking me for that support, and so that, to make sure that they have a great event, to make sure that we have enough water and everything there for the supply for the community and also for the veterans that's coming in. So I really want to thank all of you that worked so hard in order to make this stand down a success. And I look forward to continue to work with all of you in the near future in regarding this issue. And regarding this matter, I do think it's something that that we should continue to try and preserve here in the city of Compton. I want to also thank Captain Thatcher for inviting me to attend the First Aid Responders Luncheon. This luncheon was to honor our 9/11 fallen heroes that sacrificed their lives during the worst terror attack here in American history. And so I really want to thank him for that invite. And I want to make an announcement of that and invite all the women to please come out. On Sunday, September the 24th, First United Methodist Church of Compton, located at 1025 South Long Beach Boulevard here in Compton, will be having an annual Women's Day program. And it's called Crowning Glory. And the portraits of God's women in church hats. Come out, sport your hats, and just come out and enjoy yourself and be a part of this event. It starts at 3 o'clock on Sunday. So we'd love to have all of you come out and be a part of this Women's Day program. Invite your church members to come out as well. You can come out and make sure that you're wearing your pastel colors and wearing your hats and sporting all your beautiful hats. So, I want to. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the people here from the community there. And it will be at 3 p.m. on Sunday. 3 p.m. this Sunday. So please come out and join First United Methodist Women. Thank you. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sharif. Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you. I would like to first announce that EAA 96 Fly-In and Model Expo will take place at the Compton Airport on Saturday, September 23rd, beginning at 9 a.m. It's free admission and free parking. They will have aircraft demonstrations, models you can fly, glider build for children under the age of 10. So Mr. Dennis Lord, who is on the Airport Commission, asked everyone to come out and support this event. And next, in conjunction with World Oil, there will be another creek cleanup on October 21st. The details will be forthcoming. Permits and all have to be pulled, but it's saved the date for October 21st, beginning at 7 a.m. And let's see, I have one more. Mr. City Manager, I am asking that you send parking enforcement to 156. On the corner, there's a red curb there, and it obstructs the cars who are coming out from that street where they can't see. I've requested it before, and I pass by it all the time, and I see that they're still parked there in the red. So would you please have parking enforcement go out and attend to the cars that are parked there in the red on a daily basis? And also on Wilmington, just at Laurel, there are streets, it looks like they're selling cars. They have a lot of cars that are just parked there on the side of the street with for sale signs on them. So could you address that also? And thank you for making it clear that we are moving forward on the traffic signal on Central in Wilmington. We will come back very soon with all of the information about when it will be complete. And let's see, is there any other comment that I have? Oh, yes, the potholes on Central that I complained about going between Greenleaf and Walnut, they have been repaired, so thank you very much. And I think they were going out to Kemp also, so thank you very, very much. And Exmoor, yes. So we are working to get those things done. Thank you very much. I don't have any other comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Councilman Galvan.
This Saturday, I was able to sponsor a bus for our seniors to participate in the annual Age Community Cup at Cerritos Park East. I want to give a big shout out to our city staff, Marvin Hunt, as well as the seniors that participated. I believe it's kind of like an Olympic event for seniors, and I'm happy to say that 5 of our seniors won gold medals at the event. So that was pretty cool. I wish I would have been there to see it, but I think they won in the basketball toss, the women's and men's basketball toss. So that was a good event. I think we had about between 15 and 20 seniors show up to that event and be a part of it. So again, I want to thank the Parks and Rec staff for doing that. I also want to give an update at Looters Park. I don't know if you guys have been there recently, but the construction is already almost done. They got all the new equipment going in there, the exercise trail, the exercise station, the new canopies, the picnic tables, the benches. It's starting to look really, really good. It's a project that I've been working on since I first got elected. And, I'm glad to see that it's almost done. And I hope that when it's done, hopefully in the next couple weeks, you guys would all go out there where we have a ribbon cutting. Mayor, maybe we could do a ribbon cutting right there in the district. So, and all my colleagues will be invited to come out and be a good event. So I want to shout out that. And then, let me see. Also, I want to put 3 orders in for the residents complained about. One is on 1905 Stockton Street, and one on the corner of Villa Street and Tucker, and then another one on 919 East Arlington Street. They want their trees trimmed, and they've put orders in, and they have order numbers, but they just haven't got done yet. And also, we received a call today, 1821 East Saunders Street. The work number is 35910. They've called Public Works numerous times and haven't got an answered call or haven't got a call returned back. And I believe their issue is garbage and debris in the alley behind them. And they have an order number. That I guess they did it online, or maybe my liaison did it. And the person, Mr. Carter, has been calling several times and he can't get an answer down there. So maybe we can work on that. And then also, this lady, Miss Valerie, called today about her tree being trimmed, 1905 Stockton Street in Compton. So, yeah. And then also I was going to, on between Oaks and Carlin on the east side of Alameda, the homeless came back. There's like about 15 of them. Maybe we can go shut them down soon. And then also on Oaks between Alameda and Santa Fe, that whole block is riddled with trash. And then also I seen a box there today, and it had a dead animal inside it. So maybe we can get the staff to go clean that up, or whoever handles the dead animals. And I was wondering, Mr. City Manager, if it's possible to set up a meeting with between me, you, and someone from the attorney's office, and the people that own the metal recycling plants, because I believe a lot of the trash on that part right there in my district is directly from people that go and they pick up a mattress, they keep the metal and they dump the trash on the streets. People that go looking for metal, I believe they dump the trash on the streets right there, and maybe we can figure out a way to work with them to put up some signs, some warning signs. Maybe we can even I want to request that an item to come back to the council to put up some signs that dumping's illegal, and you will be prosecuted if found. Maybe that'll scare them off or something, because people get away with it pretty easily now. So maybe we can start making things tougher for them. And that's the end of my comments. Oh, last thing. Sorry. So today, you seen I wore a Mexico shirt today. As you guys know, there was a big earthquake that hit the country of Mexico. I believe there was over 140 people that have passed away. And we have a strong Hispanic population in the city of Compton. So I wore this shirt to let them, is my small way of letting them know that I stand with them. And, our prayers go out to all the victims and the families that are affected. Maybe some of our families right here in Compton will be affected as well. So it was right near the capital of Mexico. So, I just want to continue to keep them in prayer. And also maybe, there's been a lot of natural disasters happening recently with the hurricane in Miami, the hurricane in Texas, the earthquake in Mexico, which I believe even covered a little bit of California, the border town right there. So maybe we can make sure that we're ready for, we haven't had an earthquake in a long time, so maybe we can do some kind of safety training or some kind of walkthrough to make sure that if a natural disaster does happen over here, we're ready and prepared to make sure that our residents, especially our seniors, are safe. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I received a notice that from Edison that there will be actually a blackout on September 25th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Bennett West, the 500 block west of Center. So it will be a power outage on September 25th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Where? On Bennett, but the 500 block of Bennett. And also, tomorrow's Aeronautical is hosting their annual gala on Saturday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Aeronautical Museum. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Councilwoman Zarita.
Thank you. I want to thank the citizen for bringing this back up again. Madam City Controller, I'm going to request a budget from the state of the city that was given a couple of years ago. We never got a clear budget on that event, so can you prepare that, please? And also, to the citizens, the city manager and the sheriff's department, along with code enforcement, is trying to come up with a solution for the property at 500 block of Compton Boulevard. It used to be the county mental health building. Those of you that live in that neighborhood, the homeless have just taken over, and we're trying to figure out, the city manager is working with the code enforcement director to figure out a solution for the problem. And also, first of all, I want to thank Councilwoman McCoy and the staff and the city manager for the creek cleanup. For those of you that has lived in Compton for a long time, and it's been a long time since you've been in the creek, you should go take a walk in the creek because it's clean. It's a nice exercise venue in the city of Compton. So check it out. It's almost complete. Yes, but it looks, the first district end looks very nice. I want to thank y'all for starting in the first district. It looks very nice. And then also, I had a town hall meeting at Seabury Park on Saturday. I want to thank the city manager and his staff for preparing the information to provide to the citizens. And we actually have a schedule coming up really soon for the rehab of Seabury Park. It should be coming before the council, I think the next agenda or the agenda after that, and we're hoping to break ground in about the second week of October. So those of you that live in that area, you understand the frustration of the condition of Seabury Park. So we look forward to that. And then I just want to just inform some of the seniors. I believe it's an attack on senior citizens right now. There's been senior citizens that have been the subject of violence, purse snatching, just hitting them for no reason. And my mother and father, who are now, my father's 86, and my mother's 81, they were driving on Compton Boulevard. I think it must have been a couple of days ago, and I think it was Friday. They were coming from Kaiser, and they usually drive the streets home. So they were on Compton Boulevard, right between Alameda and Santa Fe, and this guy just walked up to the car, was almost by the mental health building, and socked the car window so hard that it almost shattered. And like, what the F are you looking at? And my father had just got his eyes dilated, so he had on some of those big black glasses, and he's like, I ain't even looked at him, and they were so nervous. And another one of my girlfriends, who is about, she must be about 80-something too, she was hijacked at Church's Chicken, that's on Rosecrans by Luthers Park. So you guys just be careful. And the man was attacked in Carson, senior citizen, and these people, they wouldn't do this to a young person. So just be careful. And when you come to a stop, and like I tell my mother, she got to stop going to those drive-thrus and stop running to the store at night. It was a young lady, a lady talked about being robbed in the parking lot of Superior, her purse getting stolen, but you should hear some of the stories of folks that's getting robbed inside the store. People are being robbed and food for less, their purses are being snatched, and when you take away the selling of street drugs, then people have to find another hustle. So this is, what you have to look forward to. So you just got to be careful when you run to the store at night. Don't take your purse, and don't dare go to the ATM at night. And like my father always tell me, always have, get your gas in the daytime. You know, you don't want to be a hostage to the criminals and to the crime, but you just got to use some precautions just to be safe. And my biggest announcement is the 6th annual breast cancer Walk for a Cure. It will be Saturday, October 14th, 2017, at the corner of Wilmington and Greenleaf. Registration starts at 7. The line starts at about 6. So get there early, and if you cannot walk, we'll have seating set up, and we have plenty of refreshments, continental breakfast, plenty of water, a T-shirt for the first 1,000 people that sign up. So come out early, and if anyone wants to volunteer, you can contact me or my office at 310-605-5510, 310-605-5510. And this is my 6th annual walk, so the fundraising for this, it just automatically comes. So when you have a good reputation and you treat your sponsors good and respectful, it's easy to raise money. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, I just want to piggyback off of the councilperson's request regarding city council hosted events, and I'm just requesting for, as you bring forward the report on the State of the City address again for the council, that you would also include all council events and all the additional staff time and all those associated so that we can compare apples to apples. And if you can delineate those by council district or elected official will be excellent. So we can really get a clear picture as to who's spending taxpayer dollars on what. Also, had the pleasure again of attending the Veteran Stand Down. You know, there's a well-known term, and actually it's based on a scripture, but it's whatever you do for Christ will last. But when you do things and they supersede you, I think it's something to be noteworthy. And so again, the Veteran Stand Down in its 14th successful year was able to serve the veterans of the city of Compton. Again, thank you to all the volunteers, the sponsors, the team that have labored tirelessly to put this together, and also the heart behind it. This is truly a labor of love, and I want to just thank you all again for all of your hard work and for really representing the city of Compton in a beautiful light. And also a special thank you to Dr. Mills, who is born and raised in the city of Compton, is now a surgeon at Cedars-Sinai, and he had the honor of coming back to service our veterans on Saturday. I'm not sure if he came out on Sunday, but he was really proud, and he's been posting photos of the stand down all over on social media, so it was a great event. And lastly, on that point, actually, I'll save that for last. I'll come back to that. Had the pleasure of attending a town hall to get an update on the long-awaited Seabreeze Park restoration. My constituents in the 1st District, they've been waiting for a new park for many, many years, and it's amazing what one can do when they focus on doing the right thing. So I'm excited about Seabreeze Park breaking ground, finally getting that pocket park completed so that our constituents can actually use the park once again and restore it to a positive use in the community. So I fully support Councilwoman Zarita on her efforts in restoring Seabreeze Park. Lastly, I'm just going to request for the captain, I know the captain, I think him was ready, Captain Thatcher, to provide a report on our crime stats. They do a great job at giving the city, the council, a monthly report. And I'm just going to ask that we agendize that report for next week so that we can have that a part of the public record. It'd be great to have that. A lot of times people kind of gravitate toward some of those few bad events. We're a city of 100,000 residents, and there will be times when people are impacted by crime, like the woman who came out this evening and shared some of her issues. But we do want to continue to provide the information that's necessary for residents based on our stats and facts. I'm also really pleased to welcome Compton UPS. They are opening their doors scheduled for November 6th, and they have a target to exceed their minimum hiring standards. They have been working in conjunction with CareerLink. Big thank you to Kimberly McKenzie and her entire team for working with them. I got great reports from UPS's end about the smooth process that we have, and there's actually a recruitment information session that is scheduled And the request is that you bring your resume immediately to CareerLink. They can be reached at 310-605-3050. You can always email your resume as well to kmckenzie@comptoncity.org. Hope you don't mind, Ms. McKenzie. And then also, these are part-time positions. They're considered permanent part-time. And from what UPS has shared, they're actually considering adding an additional shift. So they may be operating longer, but they're looking for, and there's also paid training. There are promotional opportunities. There are full benefits, and these are unionized positions. And they're looking for package handlers and porters, which is light janitorial. And again, look forward to Compton residents, and the total job count is estimated at about 800 jobs currently. So they are looking to fill these jobs with Compton residents. So please spread the word. And want to make an announcement on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. In conjunction with Faith Inspirational Missionary Baptist Church, they are hosting their 12-week program to assist individuals with reentry into society. The seminar will take place every Wednesday beginning September 27th through Wednesday, December 13th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. At Faith Inspirational Church, located at 357 East Palmer. And the topics that will be covered is leadership, relationship, parenting, and employment. If you are interested or know people that are interested, you can please contact Ms. Marlo Morgan at 310-948-7629, and I'm going to wrap up shortly, and also Deputy Owens at 310-605-6542. As was mentioned by my colleague, Councilman Galvan, there was a powerful earthquake, 7.1 magnitude today in Mexico City. There was also a 3 magnitude earthquake here in the city of Compton last night. And so just urging folks to please make sure that you have earthquake insurance. I checked my policy to ensure that we have additional coverage, so please make sure that you take a look at that. And as I wrap up, I want to make it clear to a few folks, the veteran stand-down item did fail today, but it will be coming back with some additional items for the council's consideration. I thank my colleagues, Councilwoman McCoy and Councilwoman Sharif, for giving some additional input on how we can make the item stronger and for additional consideration. I thank you for that. The intent is to work together and to have a baseline of discussion. That's how you create policy. So I thank them for their input on tonight. And lastly, this is not, again, veterans should never ever be political. This is not a pet project. These are people's lives. This is service. I have veterans in my family that still live in the city of Compton. My father-in-law served the Korean War. Everyone has someone that served in their family. And so, again, veterans are not pet projects. They are humans. And I would hope that we would treat people with respect. And lastly, for those that don't know, this is just a side note, some of the people that put together the Veteran Stand Down, because of their own personal beliefs, politics is one thing. People can make a political decision and support another candidate or what have you, but once the election is over, the leader's job is to continue to move forward, bring folks together, and to govern. And so we have to really have a different mindset. I challenge all of us to really consider our ways, to think about what we say, how we do them, and really what is the best foot forward to represent the city of Compton, because all of our constituents elected us to represent them well. And not to be combative, not to be petty, but to really be leaders and to focus on doing things that help the greater good. And so this is, for me, again, this is not political. I don't have I don't owe anybody a part of the Veteran Stand Down. Again, this is purely on what's best for the city. So, and good night, ma'am. And I just thank everyone for coming out tonight and being a part of the public dialogue and discourse. And we look forward to seeing you all on next week. May we have a motion to recess?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We will. Hello, audience. Hello, hello. We have one additional meeting. We have closed session, so we're going to open the successor agency meeting. So I'm going to ask everyone to keep it down briefly, just briefly, please. And that's my mistake. It is Tuesday, September 19th. Need a motion to reconvene the Compton City Council meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, City Council, we have returned from our closed session discussion. One item was conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator, city manager, and we listed the employee unions for discussion pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6. Negotiation parameters were unanimously given, but no reportable action taken. The same as as in the conference with legal counsel existing litigation, Hewitt versus City of Compton, WCAB number ADJ 881-1832, pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9A. Negotiation parameters were given, but no reportable action taken in that matter. these items were attended by the entire City Council.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. May we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. May we have a motion to reconvene the successor agency?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Director McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Chairperson Brown?
Yes.
We have a closed session to report out in this